Alrighty, welcome back everyone to our Groundskeeper Chat series. I am your host, Meg Kruger, and today I'm coming live from Louisville, Kentucky at the PGMS show. This is the annual conference national. So I was very surprised. I saw like Utah, Arizona, all these different corners of the world.
Oh, yeah.
So it's very exciting. I love events like this because, you know, in this industry, it's natural to find somebody that you're like, I had no idea that was a job.
Oh, yeah.
And then when you see that it's operating in so many different nooks and crannies of our country, it's always so exciting. So the voice that you guys are hearing on the ones and twos here today is Mr. Phil Richey. He was pulled aside and said, "You have to do this." So he has graciously accepted an invitation to be my next victim on the Groundskeeper Chat series. So welcome, sir. I appreciate you joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And so give us the first question we typically start with a new guest is the turf origin story. So how did this career come on your radar? How did you decide that it was going to, become a career, and kind of paint that roadmap for us on what that's looked like?
Sure. So I grew up in the horticulture industry. My dad managed the Horticulture Research Center at Michigan State for 37 years.
Wow.
So I actually grew up on Michigan State's campus and in research, being picked on by professors and TAs and everything out in the field, and learned how to drive tractor there back in the early 60s, mid 60s, and I went to work with my dad instead of going to the babysitters or staying home with my sister.
I love it.
And so it was just kind of in our blood. We had a family orchard.
Okay.
And so...
this was, you said, Michigan.
Is
that cherries?
This was apples, basically.
Okay,
apples and pears.
Okay.
Though they had all kinds of fruit there at the
Very
research
cool.
station, just south of campus. But... no, that was
It
our...
was bred in your blood.
It was. And then so I attended Michigan State. I got my degree in ornamental horticulture with a minor in agricultural engineering technology.
Very cool.
And upon graduation, my oldest brother was already in the industry. He was a propagation manager for a large wholesaler in Grand Haven, and his aspiration was to have his own nursery. So he kind of talked me into coming and helping him start his nursery. And just be honest, the brother thing didn't work out after a couple of years.
I love it.
And
Vince has a similar story. He kind of started off with his brother as well.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was what drew them apart, but I loved hearing that they kind of drove each other into the industry.
Yeah. So, and actually, this was in Muskegon, Michigan, and Michigan was getting tough on crime, so they were building prisons.
Okay.
And they already had one prison in Muskegon, and they were going to build two more. And I just answered an ad to be a grounds manager.
Okay.
For one of the new correctional facilities there, and I got the job. And that's where I really started my career in grounds management. I was there 4 years, and then I moved down through a series of events to follow my in-laws down to help them and support them in South Bend, Indiana, down to Bethel College, a small liberal arts Christian college there. And they were growing and building, some buildings there, and I kind of stumbled on to help set their grounds department up for them.
Very cool.
And so
create the blueprint.
Yeah.
Cool.
And so I was there 4 years, and then again followed my in-laws down to Branson, Missouri, because they were wanting to set up a retreat for some pastors and missionaries, and it was kind of grounds development in my blood at that point. And so I went down there, and some funding fell through, so I had to create my own business. So I created a landscape design maintenance business.
Very cool.
And in the Branson area where things were booming.
Yeah.
And travel destination for a lot of people, a lot of high market CEOs and business were building their pre-retirement homes there.
Very
And
cool.
so I was following around some pretty high-end builders. I was taking care of some theaters and entertainers properties and things like that until the housing market knocked everything out
Yes,
in
of course.
2007. And so I knew higher ed, and my roots and family were all back up in Michigan and northern Indiana.
Okay.
So I just started putting resumes out, and I landed at Purdue.
I love it.
And never had been to West Lafayette in my life.
What
but
was
I
that first impression?
So we have a couple plants there that make corn syrup.
Okay.
And so my wife drove through there before I even went there for my interview, and there's a certain stench in the air sometimes. And she thought, oh my goodness, we're going to move here?
Oh goodness.
It's not as bad as that is, but it is a good place. The greater Lafayette area is a very stable with a lot of big manufacturing there, of course, with Purdue there, with Cat, Subaru, to name a few. But it's a great growing metropolis.
So you've got almost 20 years at
So
Purdue now.
so I just put in 17.
Wow.
They hired me to bring in-house landscape construction back to campus.
Okay.
Knowing my resume and things like from what I was doing. So they knew that I had what it took to help them with that. And so for the last, I've been in the director's position the last about 2.5 years.
Okay.
So I came in as that manager to bring that construction element back. I also oversaw the arborist and the greenhouse operations, and actually refuse and recycling too at the time, and some heavy equipment operations. So we started putting a business model back to where we would create rates, and we would actually create some revenue within our budget to offset some of the overhead expenses. And so it has ballooned. And then this past year, actually, we went on a fully loaded shop rate.
Okay.
And that was because we're a state institution. That was to really, really help with how much state funding allocation would be given to the department.
Yeah.
So it would be kind of like seed money for our positions, and then through shop rate we would earn through our campus partners our overhead.
Yeah.
To repair our vehicles and new vehicles and all of our materials, and just like a regular company would.
Well, for when you say grounds manager or campus management, you wouldn't think that the language that you were just speaking fits under that role. Figuring out where funding goes and money and blueprints and business model, but that really has become the case where it's the role of a grounds manager or a groundskeeper or a campus manager really is this huge umbrella over so many different skill sets.
Well, yeah, I mean, so it just depends on what that level is, Meg. So at my level, I really don't touch a lot of horticulture anymore.
Yeah, of course. I know that's always the case.
And so, but that's okay because I've been in the field all my life.
Yeah.
And so, actually, it was a good thing for me to go to Purdue when I was, because I was upper 40s, and our industry beats us up.
Yes,
it's a hard gig, but it's so worthwhile.
Rewarding,
and it's a rewarding because you can see the fruits of your effort. Sometimes at the end of the day, sometimes during the day.
Yep.
But also always at the end of the project, right? And And so that has been always a driver for me. But you get to the point where now I have great managers that deal in that and stay in that day-to-day operations.
Yep.
And so, quite frankly, I'm learning that new realm
Yep.
because it's a step up, and you gotta force yourself away from that and just let them perform and
Yes.
help and guide them, and then work on the financial piece. And so, owning my own business really did offer me that insight
Yeah.
in what I'm doing today.
And how did you take that plunge, as I may describe it, is to not only advocate for yourself, but believe in yourself that you were capable of those things. You know, creating blueprints from when they didn't necessarily exist before.
So you build principles. I mean, it's just like anything. There's foundational type things. I recognize some principles that are tried and true within business, within operations, and then you hold to those, and then you build on those
Yep.
as the requests come and as the business need comes. And it's not, and it's sometimes it's a daily thing, sometimes it's a monthly thing. You know, I'm working on a big project now with a lot of help within AO, administrative operations, or physical facilities. It's the side of the university that supports the academy, right? And so it's about tracking data. And so within our system that we use, SAP, it touches the labor, it touches the financials, and it touches the EAM, or the work order, or the operational.
Yeah.
And so it's a system where you work on something and it's spatial, so you can identify a location, and then you can, once that is identified, you can tie your labor expense, your material expense, everything to it.
Very cool.
So it's a new concept of how we also can track all of our expenses and where they're going, all in the name of managing a more efficient business.
Yes. Yeah.
Because I always said, going back to a principle, even the simplest business, you got to know your expenses
Yep.
to know how much money you're making.
Yep.
Otherwise, you're not going to stay in business.
Yep.
And so with that, same type of concept. Know where you're expensed out, and if you're too heavy in this area, you can make operational changes to be able to right that part of the ship, so to speak,
Yep.
and create efficiency and growth, possibly new initiatives. So those are the things you find out and know how to pivot at the right time and move.
And how much have groups like PGMS or different associations or networks that you've been a part of over the years helped you formulate that confidence to know what you're doing, or to formulate those principles?
It's Meg. It's been huge for me. My first PGMS was in 1996.
Okay, wonderful.
And so, though though there was a period where it was hit and miss for me, I always stayed in contact.
I love it.
But as soon as I hit Purdue and found out that they were not part of it, we became members as an organization right away.
I love it.
And been really tied into PGMS the last 17 years, and now being on the executive board. But going back, it's the networking, Meg.
Yep.
It's these type of offerings and these type of organization meetings and conferences where everyone's got the same issues or same kind of problems, but they're scaled differently.
Yep.
Or they're a little bit different because of a different region of the country.
Yep.
And so you can have a really relevant conversation, and though my colleague may not be able to help me solve that problem, I can gain a nugget or two.
Yes.
that I can implement. And that's why I bring managers now with that. Just listen, ask questions, and just bring a nugget or two back
Yeah.
to create efficiency, create a new thing that would help our operations.
Definitely.
And that is a huge win for what PGMS, as well as being on the board, the executive board, really has helped me also in my professional development
Yeah, definitely.
personally.
Yep.
And actually, my executives at Purdue love it because it's cheap professional development for
Yes,
one of
yeah.
their directors.
Yep, exactly.
And of course, then I'm representing Purdue here. They love that
Yes.
on a national stage. And so it's a marketing thing for them
Yeah.
in a way, indirectly. But anytime that they can allow the Purdue brand out there, even though it's alongside PGMS, that's fine.
Well, and that's a great pitch for anybody who might be listening who would think like, oh, my higher ups aren't going to support something like that. Me taking 3 days
Correct.
away from the day to day, or the money that may be allocated in me becoming a better professional.
Right.
But I really do think you find in this industry in particular, like that support is often there.
Oh yeah, yeah. It is a philosophy, a business philosophy, a professional development philosophy that your seniors or your executives need to have,
Yep.
and how they look at things. But I think today, professional development is so huge across the board in all of our industries that is, and if you tie the dollar value to how much this really costs in the long term,
Yeah, yeah,
it's a no-brainer.
yeah. I'm with you.
And they're going to gain so much better, and they've seen it.
Yeah.
They've seen my growth in how I run my budgets in my organization, and they love this. They love how much money now I can give back to them at the end of the budget
Yeah, exactly.
because we become efficient.
Yeah. Well, and you talked a little bit about burnout and how that is sometimes, unfortunately, is a natural stop on the roadmap of
Yeah.
these careers. But what societies and associations and organizations like this do to keep you from that or revitalize you if you're deep in the depths of
Yeah.
burnout? Because as simple as it is to sit in on a session talking to another groundskeeper or grounds manager, it really could give you a fresh perspective, and it can just refuel whether it's your passion or your pride in the gig, or just like you said, a little nugget that you can bring back.
Yeah.
That if you can make your day-to-day easier, or you can make someone else's job easier, then how that the whole ecosystem starts running, better.
Yeah. So that's a good point. I wish my whole department could be here and understand really what this industry is really about and
Yeah.
what they are in by default by
Yeah.
answering that job call at
Yes,
Purdue.
Yeah.
We tell them all the time it's a big deal.
Yeah.
That you are maintaining a campus for a Big Ten university.
Yeah. Huge.
Huge deal. And my managers now know it because now they're here rubbing shoulders with all the other grounds managers from around the country at various size institutions, and they get that, just what you were just saying, and but now they can help. That's just not me. Now they can help bring that message back and really help lead our staff
Yep.
in day-to-day operations and encourage them, and they can now think about how we as a team better our department and encourage through recruitment and retention.
Yeah, retention for sure.
Retention for sure.
And celebrating those roles is such a
Oh,
huge
yes.
element of that. And, I think with sports fields, it's about safety and playability and in the athletes. But really, when we get to the university grounds or grounds management of these estates or of Big Ten colleges, things like that, it's that first impression. I just think back to all the times that I've stepped foot somewhere and how big of a difference the landscape really makes on your overall experience.
Yeah.
Like, I always think, like, if you visit somewhere and it's pouring down rain and everything is dead around you, it does cloud your perspective. And being from Cleveland, Ohio, that's often my case.
Yeah.
But I think of the times when, even if it's pouring down rain or it's snow and there's paths cleared and you're not drudging through, slush, or there's just greenscapes that you're able to be like, wow, there's life. There's actual life breathing through here, and I want to be a part of that ecosystem. The first impression is so important. And in how you convey that to somebody who's doing the job, I'm sure can be a challenge at times, but once it gets through to them, it's like it's that mind explosion.
Yeah, that's what we really have helped our staff understand, that we don't get a second chance to provide a first impression.
Yeah.
And what they do is often it's the first thing our campus community sees when they come to campus, and it's the last thing they see when they leave campus.
Yeah.
And by default, because that's what we do.
Yeah.
And that is really, really important. I know Purdue, as well as a lot of other organizations and a lot of other universities, use that as a marketing tool.
Definitely, yeah.
And you talk about safety. That's number one in our book, is a safe landscape. Whether it's terrain, whether it's how it's landscaped for safe passage and lighting. We come together and work so that we do have a safe space.
Yes, yeah.
That we can provide a beautiful, safe learning environment. That's really our vision.
Yep.
That's how we at Purdue say how the grounds department powers Purdue.
I love it. I love it.
And so,
That's cool.
That's very number one.
Well, and Purdue is one of those colleges that when you think of that, like, idyllic college experience of somebody, laying across a lawn and they're studying and, their friend comes up to them. Like, it really, it like plays in my mind like a movie. And the fact that you have an entire group of, I mentioned it earlier, magic elves working in the background to create that, set or that scene for those kind of experiences to play out is just such a cool, it's such a cool element of this industry, that you do have this, thing in your back pocket that you can really blow people's minds when you tell them what you do for a living.
Yeah.
What does that elevator pitch look like for you when people ask you, like, what do you do for a living, Phil? Like, and how deep do you go gauged on or based on what people's reaction is? Like,
so I just say, so I'm the director of grounds for Purdue University, and they kind of look at me.
That is such a badass title. It really is. Like, that is so cool. I love it.
And they go, director, everything?
Yeah.
I go, pretty much everything you see. They go, that's a lot.
Yeah.
And I go, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a lot.
I love it.
But I follow that up quickly with, I have such a great team.
Yeah.
And I have such great support. And that's true.
Yep. That's awesome.
I'm fortunate to have that role as director. I've worked there. I've worked hard to get there through my career. It wasn't easily obtained, even though I was already there.
Yeah, yeah.
You have to show. It's big business.
Yeah.
Big business, big politics. And you have to show the executives that you can gain their confidence and that you have the skill set and knowledge, not only within the operations, but to run a multi-million-dollar enterprise successfully.
That's the wild element of it is when we talk about sports fields, it's $1 million assets on the field.
Exactly.
But when you think of enrollment and people that want this to be their, their alma mater, and they want to spend their money at this university. It's the money, the dollar signs. Boom, boom, boom.
It's big business, and that was
Yeah.
that was when I first came to Purdue. That was the first thing, Meg, that I saw.
Yeah.
I saw it was like, wow, this is really big business.
Yeah.
I better really tread lightly so I don't get out in front of myself and
Yeah.
screw stuff up.
Well, and that is great advice. Tread lightly in the sense of, I find that sometimes that excitement can sometimes when you start a new position, that excitement can often come with over-promising or not knowing the whole scope of the job before you start down a path. And I think that's a great advice, is treading lightly and really.
Bring your confidence.
Yep.
I'm not saying that at all, but be a good listener.
Yes, yeah.
Listen
Great advice.
to your folks around you, and be able to don't be careful how quickly you make a decision.
Yep, yeah. That's
Weigh
great
it.
advice.
Weigh it. But sometimes, in operations, we're also problem solvers.
Yep.
And sometimes we don't have a lot of time. And so that's where the experience comes in. And you bring your...
Or the mentors,
Yeah,
the
and
people that
exactly.
you can rely on that
Yes.
have that experience.
And I was going to say, then you reach out and grab your inner circle, so to
Yes,
speak,
yeah.
and lay it out there and lay the pros and cons out there and go, okay, what's our best direction?
Yep.
And so
Love it.
that happens probably more so than what you think.
Yep. Well, and again, just to hit that point home, being involved in groups like this, coming to the conferences and building that network so that when those decisions do come down the line, you have a toolkit.
I will reach out to my colleagues here at PGMS.
Yep.
Also, it's just not my colleagues at Purdue or my managers
Of
at
course,
Purdue.
yeah.
I will.
We were just saying this in an earlier episode, how beneficial it is to have people removed from the situation. People that, can understand the challenge but are not personally affected by it.
Exactly.
And how that perspective can completely change the game.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I've got calls from other PGMS wanting that advice, from me. What would you do? How do you look at that?
What would Phil Richey do?
Yeah. And so, obviously it's like I don't have all the information, but given what I'm hearing you,
Yep.
so you might want to think about this, and this before you
Yeah.
add that to your decision bowl before you really
I love it.
mix it up and bake it.
Yes, I love it. Well, Phil, thank you so much for agreeing to do this. I hope it wasn't too painful for you.
Oh no, it's just it's fun. It's fun.
Good.
And always glad to help and move our greens industry forward.
Definitely.
However I can help. So
And I definitely owe Brian a visit here soon. So now I have two folks that I can
yes,
see if I come
yeah.
to
Brian's a
campus.
great partner, and does a wonderful job displaying our fields for national television. And
I love it.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank
Yeah.
you so much, Phil.
All right.
A friend of the channel now, officially.
Yes. Thank you. Take care.